Alright, so everything had some time to dry, and what we can do now is we can do the assembly. And we're going to go back to step 1, and let's see, and just find the rubber band that came with the kit. You see we have one. Let me put this over here for you. So we have the rubber band, and it looks like we're going to take the arm with the musket. You can see how we got the slot at the end. So we're gonna take, let's see, where's the piece that we're gonna take? It looks like this one right in here. This is pretty small. See it right here? Alright, we're going to take this part, and this is actually going to go into the little slot. Like that. While we're waiting for that to dry, I think what we're going to do is we're going to put the skull and crossbones on the captain's hat. So you can see we actually got 2 of them. So why don't we take one? And what I'm going to do is we're going to use the micro saw and the micro set. So I'm going to put the micro saw onto the decal, and we're going to wet down the decal. Again, we don't have to soak it in water. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea to get it all the way through, but we're going to soak it with the microsol. See how it's starting to absorb the moisture? All right, so it's looking like, oh, this is the wrong end. Okay, so we've got to do it for the front. Take it off the front. And again, we'll touch up the little areas of paint that need to be touched up. You can see the 2 pieces. So let's get that ready. And the first piece is going to be this piece right here. And the one that we had done, the one that's going to stick out of his back a little bit. All right. So the first one we're going to use is this one. And it's going to go just like this. And it looks like if we can get that on into that little like that. And you can see that the piece let's see, it's right here. This is going to come out through the back. The back part. And you can see the little pegs. This is going to kind of work like a, it's going to go in just like that. And it's going to able to move it up and down. And how is this going to be held together? Oh, I see. So this part is going to go into this part right there, and it looks like this is going to hold it in place. So when you move the switch, it's going to move the piece inside up and down inside of his chest. All right. I was just curious on how that would work. Looks like that's ready. And you can see we have a guideline for it. So why don't we go ahead and take that off the... There you go, that looks pretty cool. And what we can do is we can put some of the micro set onto that. Alright, we'll put the micro saw aside. And we got the micro set. And I love this stuff because it smells like vinegar. Wipe down the brush from the micro saw. And we don't need a whole lot, just enough to moisten it. There. That's all we need. And when that dries, it's actually going to shrink form the decal to the hat. All right. So we got another green light. Let's see, we got to strip the ends and get it. All right, so let's get these pieces together. Now, you guys know that I had lit the base. So let's kind of get it where we can work with this. So let's put this over here. And let's hook up this light. Alright, so the problem that we're going to have now is how to get the wires up into the captain. As you can see, it's going to be like that. And his chest is going to glow. Like that. And I want it pointing up. So hopefully you can get some of the light up into the skull. Because I wanted to use fiber optics in his eyes. So I don't know how that's going to work. So, but we got to figure out how to run the wires through his legs. So we're going to do it this way. Figure if we were to put the light, let's say right about there, and we can run the wires down his legs like that. I have to glue them to the back of the leg. There's a groove there where we can do that, and then I'll have to paint the red. So that's the plan. There. You can see how we kind of glued the wire into position and how it's going to run down between the fibula and the tibula. And I think it won't look too bad. We'll be able to get away with it. But what we're going to have to do is we're going to actually color this black. So let's see, I got some black marker somewhere. Got a Sharpie. So what we're going to do is I got to, not the whole thing, just obviously where the wire is going to show. There, you can see it's black, and that should hide it nicely. The rubber band is going to go through this loop like this. Didn't really need the toothpick. See how we're going to pull it through? Just like that. See how we kind of looped it through? Nice. All right, so let's go back to, we already did step 2. That's all set to go. Now we're actually going to put the captain together. But want to make sure that the light is going to be in the proper place before we do that. So let's see if it's like that. All right. So we're going to bring the light down just a bit more because we don't want to actually see the bulb. But you can see how it's basically, how he's basically going to look. All right. So if we get it like this, this will be just about perfect if we can get it to stay in this position. Just like that. And we can clamp that. Yeah, we want the wire to stay just like that. See how we got the wire to stay between the fibula and the tibula? That'd be perfect, just like that. All right, let's think about doing the other side now. And again, we want it down the same way. Right in between the two. So you can see how we got the wires running down the backs of his legs. So we gotta wait for that to dry. Hopefully it can stay in that position, because that will be good. Let me show you guys when you turn them around. When you look, it's a little bit harder to see the wires. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to drill the base another hole and a hole in his shoes. But that's further down the road. Let's get him. Like I said, we're up to this part. So what we got to do, and you can see we don't glue any of the arms. We're going to put the shoulder in there. And before we glue him, let's see, we're going to do the other side first. You guys remember we got to do the musket arm, and we don't glue that. So this is going to go like this, and it's going to be held in place with the other arm. And the other arm is going to go like this. This is going to be a little tricky. See how the rubber band is going to go this way, and the other one has to go like this. So it's going to be tricky to try to keep it all there. Basically like that. So why don't we go ahead and we can glue these parts for now. So trying to get the inside to line up was pretty tough. And we get that little piece. I'm going to make sure that that little piece went into the other part right there. All right. So I think what we're going to do is let him dry. Maybe, yeah, put some glue here, and we're going to clamp where his knees are. There. We just want to get rid of all the seams. Okay. Maybe what we can do now is we can put his shoulders on. And that's going to go right on his arm. That looks pretty good. Make sure it's still mobile. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. You can see down here. And we'll put some glue in. Just like that. Yeah, that one didn't want to go on right away, so it took a little bit of manipulating. Here. Alright, let's put another drop. And we're going to have to let the skull set for a while now. The whole point of the fiber optics in the orbs, I don't know if you guys can see them sticking out. Why don't we go ahead and we can cut that one. I just don't want it to catch on anything, so see how they are? And maybe we can... So the whole point is when everything's dry, we can put a couple of drops of paint inside the orbs, and hopefully they'll light up. You can see the little points of light in the skull orbs. At least that's the plan. Again, not a lot, just a little bit. There. Just like that. Actually, there's a little bit over here. When it comes to his shoes, let's see, now we're going to have to put wires through. So we're going to have to make these just a little bit bigger. So let's take the... That should be good. All right, we're going to do the same thing for the base. And I think these are the holes right here where the captain's feet are going to go through. There. All right, so you can see he's got his shoes. There. And the wires are going to go through the base, and we're going to glue him standing up in place. And then we're going to glue his feet. Can't glue his shoes together yet, only because we don't know the angle that he's going to go. He's going to be standing flush with the pile of coins. I want to make sure there's no fiber optic filament coming out the bottom that can get caught on anything. So when it comes to putting it on, let's see, how is his head gonna... So there's a little point where his head can swivel. I think we're going to keep it that way. Oh, maybe not. Maybe we should glue his head. So maybe we can put a little bit of glue where his head is going to go on. And right about there. Yeah. And let's put his head on. Alright, so I want him to dry with his head back, looking at the people. So he's lighting up, but the light isn't quite traveling up to his skull. Alright, so we can see it's set a little bit. We got him hooked up, so let's go ahead and light him up. And I guess it's not going to work what I wanted to do with the fiber optics. Let me shut the lights, and we should get some better darkness from here. Alright. Alright. Yeah, I won't be able to tell. Yeah. Well, see, the hopes was to get the light to go up through his spine into his skull, and the fiber optics would have picked up some of that and gone and went through his eye socket. But sadly, that's not how it worked out, so that I'm going to have to 86 that. But we got his chest glowing. You can see it's the ghostly glow. And it'll look pretty cool when his arms up to hold him up. Alright, and you can see where the little peg is going to go in. Alright, so that's how he's going to go. Alright, so he's had some time to set for a little while. You can see the pirate has his raven, not his parakeet. We put a raven. There's actually a little bit of color on the beak that I want to fix just a bit. See the side of his face? You may not be able to see it, but I know it's there. So let's try to get rid of it. The fiber optics aren't going to work, but you can see the raven's face looks a little bit better. Hopefully you can see that. Alright, what do you guys think of that? And when the paint's dry, we'll cut the fiber optics. Alright, it looks like he's losing his shoe. And I think what we can do now is we can put his hat. What do you think? Maybe right about there? Looks pretty good. Let's see, let's light him up while we're looking at him. And let's see. Maybe we can put a little bit. Oh, actually, that looks pretty good. I wish I wouldn't have gone white, gray with his shirt. There's a little bit sticking through. Let's see if we can't take care of that with a little bit of black. There we go. That's a little bit better. So we got his head put on. We got his arms. You can see the movable arms. He's got his musket, getting ready to fire. We got the Raven on. Let me see if I can get a close-up where you guys can actually see. How's that? You can see when you look down, the light shows. I was hoping that that wouldn't happen, but that's unavoidable because of the way it's glued. And again, I was hoping for the fiber optics to pick up the light. That's why I had put it on the bottom of the skull, because I was hoping at the top of his spinal cord would carry the light up. But see how it's kind of stopping? It's not going up. Maybe the light bulb is not aimed directly up. And he's a little dry. Maybe we can finagle. Maybe I can get in here to try to push the light bulb to aim up. But when the paint's dry, then we'll cut the fiber optics. But other than that, he's ready to mount to the base. He's done. So he's finished. So this section is all set. We put the parrot on. We put the wires through. You can see where the wires are running down the backs of his legs. Hopefully they don't show too much. We got his shoes all ready to go. And in our next video, we're going to do the final assembly. We're going to actually put him on the base. Let's bring it up a bit. We'll go right about there. And the next video, we're going to finish off the model. So we got the final assembly coming up. There's a couple of little details that we're going to do to fix it up. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.